Picture this. You're completely alone in a strange hotel room in the dead of night. The silence is heavy, right? Almost suffocating. Then suddenly, a voice right outside your door whispers your name. But here's the catch. You haven't told a single soul who you are. This is exactly the paralyzing realization that hits our protagonist, Ayanle. A midnight visitor is lurking right outside his door, and somehow, completely impossibly, they know exactly who is inside.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the terrifying, totally claustrophobic events of Season 1, Episode 3, Kofkielbab Katagna, or The Midnight Visitor. We're going to meticulously break down the physical and auditory clues from Ayanle's harrowing encounter at Hotel Al Hilal, piecing together a puzzle where logic just seems to completely unravel.
Section 1. Code Key Sakti Day, The Midnight Whisper.
Okay, let's dive into this. The sheer impossibility of this setup is what makes it so incredibly chilling, and it's all based on strict, undeniable facts. When Ayanle arrived at this hotel, he didn't tell anyone his name. He didn't even officially register for the room at a front desk like you normally would, you know? He was simply handed the key. So mathematically, logically speaking, absolutely zero people should know he's the one inside that room. Yet, the voice outside isn't just taking a wild guess, it's calling for him directly.
So Ayanle steps closer to the door, listening intently. At first, nothing. He thinks, well, maybe I imagined it, or maybe the sound came from down the hall. He's just about to turn back when the voice returns, and this time, it is terrifyingly close. It sounds as if someone's mouth is pressed literally right up against the wood of the door. Heart-pounding, he asks, "Who are you? How do you know my name?" Dead silence. And then, a low, quiet whisper from a woman. "Ayanle, open the door."
It's in this split second of rising panic, with his hand hovering right over the lock, that a crucial piece of advice flashes into his mind. It's the hotel manager's explicit, bone-chilling warning. If you hear someone knocking on the door in the middle of the night, do not open it. That single memory acts as a lifeline, saving him from what could be a fatal mistake. He pulls his hand away from the lock and just whispers, "No."
Let's actually map out this agonizing minute-by-minute tension at the door. At 1 second, the whisper demands entry. The very next moment, Ayanle refuses. Then follows 2 excruciating minutes of absolute breathless silence. Just imagine standing there, frozen, separated from an unknown entity by a single inch of wood, wondering what on earth they're doing on the other side. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, the eerie sound of slow, heavy footsteps begins to echo. Tuck, 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 slowly fading into the distance down the corridor.
Section 2. Hawini di Marinka, Dagnade, The Woman in the Hallway. Let's move on and see how this builds, because this is the crucial pivot point where our auditory clues turn into visual confirmation. Ayanle waits, taking a deep breath. He figures if the person just left, he might still catch a glimpse of who they are. He presses his eye to the peephole. Step 1. The hallway appears completely empty. But then, Step 2. Way down at the very end of the long corridor, he spots a figure, a woman. Her back is turned to him. She's wearing a white dress, and her hair is cascading down her shoulders. She isn't moving at all. She just seems to be waiting. Step 3, he blinks, pulls his eye away for just a few seconds to process what he's looking at, and looks back. She has completely vanished. The hallway is dead empty again.
Section 3, Swarki Senetki, 1986. The 1986 photograph.
Deeply shaken, for obvious reasons, he steps away from the door and walks back into the center of the room. He picks up a note that was left on the table. It has a simple 3-word message: "You are late." Now, in the context of a ghostly woman standing motionless in the hallway, this phrase dramatically shifts from just a random statement to a really sinister implication. Someone or something has been actively anticipating his arrival. They've been waiting for him.
As he turns the note over and goes to put it down, he spots a small corner of something stuck under the table. He pulls it out. It's an old, black and white photograph. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer volume of information this single artifact gives us. It's labeled Hotel Al Hilal Staff, 1986. Looking closely at the faces, Ayanle spots the current hotel manager, though he looks decades younger. But the most terrifying detail isn't the manager. It's in the back row. Standing right there is the exact same woman he just saw vanishing in the hallway. The white dress, the hair cascading down her shoulders, it's a perfect match. He scans the names printed at the bottom and finds her, Sarah Hassa, and right next to her name, a location, room 404.
Room 404?
This begs a terrifying question. Why is this woman in white, Sarah Hassan, from a nearly 40-year-old photograph tied to that specific room number? And why is she appearing outside his door tonight? The pieces of evidence are starting to connect, sure, but the picture they're forming is deeply unsettling and completely defies logic.
Section 4. Surta Kajib Ka'a, the impossible twist.
This is the exact moment where the physical boundaries of the room and really just the laws of reality completely break down. While Ayanle is staring intently at this old photograph, desperately trying to make sense of who Syra is, he hears a sharp noise right behind him. Tuck. He spins around in absolute shock. The heavy hotel room door, the one he was absolutely positively certain he had locked and secured just moments ago, is now sitting wide open. He stares out, but the hallway outside remains dead, empty. The real horror here. His locked sanctuary, his only defense against whatever is out there, has been breached without a single sound, right while his back was turned.
But he quickly realizes he isn't alone. Placed deliberately on the floor, right in front of the open doorway, is a brand new piece of paper. He slowly picks it up. The message is short, stark, and absolutely terrifying. You are looking at the wrong person. Just imagine the sheer panic rising in his chest. Someone or something was just inside his room, silently watching him study that photo, and they know exactly what he's thinking.
And right beneath that chilling sentence is a direct, undeniable command. Look at the person standing next to her. The entity that breached his room is actively directing his attention, forcing Ayanle to look away from the empty doorway and back down at the 1986 staff photograph trembling in his hands.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate mind-bending climax of this entire encounter. Following the note's instructions, Ayanle's eyes move away from Sarah Hassan in the back row. He looks at the person standing directly next to her in this decades-old photograph. He grips the picture tighter, looking again, completely unable to process the visual information, because the person standing right next to Sarah has his face. It isn't just a resemblance, guys. It is the exact face of Ayanle himself, staring back from 1986.
So what does this all mean? How on earth can Ayanle appear in a staff photograph taken 40 years ago? The clues we've broken down today, the impossible knowledge of his name, the disappearing woman, the perfectly silent breach of a locked door, they all culminate in this absolute impossibility. Who really is Sahara? Why was she waiting for him? And most importantly, what is Ayanle's true, hidden connection to Hotel El Hilal? These are the impossible questions we are left with as the door swings open to the unknown. See you in the next one.